Brian Fallon, the press secretary for Hillary Clinton, is standing with Nancy Cordes. Let's send it back out to Nancy, who is in Miami tonight. Nancy.
Thanks, DeMarco. Brian, I just spoke to Jeff Weaver, the campaign manager for Bernie Sanders, and he said that this debate exposed the fact that Hillary Clinton is weak on immigration and that her record doesn't match her rhetoric. I'm guessing you feel differently.
Well, I think that Senator Sanders came into this debate with a real opportunity to try to make inroads with Latino voters. You know, you can't compete seriously in a state like Florida, which is an important swing state, especially in a general election, without being able to speak to the Latino community. And I think during those immigration exchanges, you heard him unable to answer for his support for that pro-Minuteman proposal from 2006. He also left hanging out there why he opposed the immigration bill in 2007. And then at the end of the debate, he refused to walk back or in any way distance himself from his comments in support of the Castro regime in Cuba. So I think he did more damage to himself than good, and I think it puts him really behind the eight ball in terms of trying to make inroads here in Florida or with Latino voters in general.
Do you think it matters, though, that he voted against that 2007 bill on immigration reform when he did vote for the most recent attempt at immigration reform just a couple of years ago? Well,
as Secretary Clinton said last night, tonight, the 2007 bill was probably the last best chance we've had. He was sort of exposed in the contradictions that he's given for why he opposed that bill. You know, that they played that clip of that interview that he gave to Lou Dobbs back at the time, which really exposed the real meaning behind his opposition, which was he believes that allowing immigrants into the United States will reduce wages and hurt the American economy. That was exposed by playing that clip. And then in 2013, you know, I was in the Senate in 2013 when Senator Schumer and Senator Rubio and a lot of the other Gang of Eight members pushed that bill through. Senator Sanders was a very reluctant supporter of that bill. He was sort of probably the last Democrat to come aboard, and he only did so after an extraneous measure was added to the overall bill. He negotiated separately to get $1.5 billion put in for a separate program that had nothing to do with immigration whatsoever, and only then did he finally commit to supporting the bill. So I think he's got a lot to answer for in terms of his record when it comes to immigration issues.
Brian, I don't know anyone in the Clinton campaign who thought that Hillary Clinton was going to lose in Michigan last night. It came as a huge surprise. What was the conversation like within the campaign today, kind of the postmortem about how she lost, especially when she was leading by such a huge margin in the polls?
Well, we actually don't think that we were ever leading by as much as some of those public polls suggested. Our internal polling showed the race much tighter. I think that the race was tight according to Senator Sanders' internal polls as well. Look, we would have certainly liked to win last night. And we tip our cap to Senator Sanders. He won a hard-fought victory. But he's going to have to do better than what he did in Michigan last night in terms of being able to seriously vie for the nomination. If you look at the combined result of Mississippi and Michigan, we netted delegates overall, even though we split those two states. So he's going to have to start expanding his map, competing in more states, and then winning by rather lopsided margins if he's really going to eat into the delegate lead that Secretary Clinton enjoys right now.
But what's the lesson for your campaign? How did you get the rug pulled out from under you like that?
Well, I think that we are going to take the next week. You know, we're looking at another day next Tuesday where 5 states will be voting. It'll be the largest pot of delegates that are up for grabs in Super Tuesday. 3 of those states that will be voting are in the Midwest. We know that Senator Sanders is going to be contesting those states very fiercely. We view it as an opportunity to continue to deliver our economic message, talk about how Hillary Clinton is the one that has the real plan to get jobs created in the manufacturing sector, how she's the one that's truly resolved to raising wages, has profit-sharing proposals, supporting an increase in the minimum wage, a real opportunity to get things done. And as she said tonight of Senator Sanders' proposals, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. So I think that we feel like if we have additional time to make the case in those states throughout the industrial Midwest, that we have the better of the argument when it comes to who's going to boost the economy.
And very quickly, what would a good night be for you next Tuesday? Would it be winning 3 out of the 5 states, 4 out of 5 states?
I think it will be adding to our delegate lead. You know, the real question for Senator Sanders is at what point is he going to start to beat us in terms of accumulating delegates? Otherwise, the rest is just details. You know, he continues to have a strategy of trying to win individual states, but unless he expands his map and starts competing in more states and starts winning by 60-40 majority-style margins, he's never going to catch up. So for us, our goal is to go in and not focus on individual states, but how can we build our delegate lead overall. We think we're well-positioned to do that, even if Senator Sanders wins multiple states next Tuesday.
Got it. Brian Fallon, press secretary for the Clinton campaign, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks very much.
DeMarco?